everybody. It's me, Luigi Card, and welcome back to one of my content. As you can see, there's been a couple of changes around here, which I will no longer be doing them as I see if you can see from the last month's podcast video, which I've immediately shut down for good. Anyways, I'm really excited to share some of the content I have planned for you guys, which hopefully will be coming soon. It will be based around Mario stuff, Bob the Builder stuff, or something really, really random like just do some art, voice acting, comment up, or it could be just as super duper random as showing my felines. And I'm excited to be back. I apologize I haven't been around much. I have been taking a pretty big hiatus. If you don't know what a hiatus means, it means I am taking a break. I'm trying to focus on my emotions and my mental health, because sometimes doing YouTube can be a huge struggle, and I just needed time for myself, you know? Speaking of Super Mario stuff, I got something to tell you. One time I was playing Mario Party 8, I somehow got really lucky and got 10 in a thrice dice. It's like super funny. At the same time, I just got lucky. I can't remember what the reward is, but I was showing it to some people at my school, and they were jealous right on. Like, literally. It is literally the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, who knew you could be so lucky? And yet so funny. But then again, I didn't have enough money to get the stars, so, who knows? Anyways. Guys, hey, gotta welcome back to YA-HOOO. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. I'm so excited you could be around here. And now my cat is just coming. Okay, this is pretty weird because, well, it's not weird at this point because you guys are literally seeing my cat. Man, I should put something warm on, because I don't want you love to see my personal stuff. It's clearly unaddressed. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Speaking of Mario stuff, how do you guys like the Mario movie? I thought it was pretty amazing. It could use more Luigi, but that's okay. I know it's called Mario movie, but Luigi and Bowser really steal the show. Just thanks to Charlie Day and Jack Black. Hello, Protestant Inkling. Welcome aboard. There's the Fluffy. Snowy. Come on. Whoa. She's a little. Oopsies. Making sure it's not the kitties here. Hello. Hello, peoples. It is me, Luigi Guard. I should probably talk it a little bit lower. That's okay. Yep. This is the kitty baby. Snowy. Hello. Hello, Betty Tails Queen. Welcome aboard. You have witnessed the I'm sorry, she's just a little bit shy. And I can't say I blame her though. And yes, I'm wearing some green and blue. I look just like Luigi. And this kitty here is my Polter Pup, which I want to nickname her Polter Kitty so bad. Isn't she the cutest fluffy ever? Like, seriously. Shh. She's saying hello. Do you guys like cats or dogs? I'm curious. Yeah. As you can see, she was giving me some huggings. Aww. The cat loves me. I love cats. Me too. I am a cat person. They're just really easy to take care of. Hmm. Yeah, there's a thing called following your cats. That is pretty straight, if I can say so myself. You're just gonna see Snowy here, aren't you? She really steals the show. The most lovable cat in the franchise. Have you, just out of curiosity, which Mario game do you like the best? To me, I am a fan of, you know, just Luigi's Mansion stuff because, as you may know me, I am a I am a huge Luigi fanatic. Hold on, let me just. Okay. Plus, I did a taco today to compromise Prime of. You probably gonna have to send me a link. I I'm interested of seeing it. If you don't mind, that is. Kitty. Oh, Snowy has to go now. Say bye bye to the kitty. Okay, Snowy. You may go out now. Oh. Yeah, I'm probably gonna send it after the. I'll probably listen to it after the stream, so I don't get a copyright claim or strike on the stream. So you don't want that to happen, do you? I didn't think so. I think a lot of people that I know own cats. I just don't know if it is a coincidence. Anyways, you might hear some controversies between Johnny Calls 87. Well, the thing is, most of you may know, a lot of you may know him as the voice actor for Bogart for Monster Podcast and some in an unmentioned project. Well, in the AU, at least mine and another person's AU, Bogart is a transgender character who is gay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. At first, he was a little concerned. Like, I understand if he doesn't want to voice a character, but his reasoning why he doesn't want to voice Bogart is pretty questionable. He has said homophobic things. I saw it a lot, but thankfully, I got to talk to his brother Jake II, who's also a really good friend of mine. So yeah, I'm sorry everybody. There's gonna be a lot of changes. So yeah. Like, I'm glad I ended Monster Podcast ASAP, otherwise I would have been in huge trouble. You know, I've been thinking about this for quite a while now. So, I did a poll test. I did a little trivia, or like Bob the Builder, although I decided to get a little creative with these. Like, which Bob the Builder truck is most likely to win this, to survive some Squid Game stuff. Like, if you don't know what Squid Game is, it is a South Korean documentary. I know a lot of you are not a fan of Squid Games, and that's fine. If you know what I mean. Hold on. Whoa! Hello, Burkor Nick. It's great to see you again. How have you been, buddy? I understand it's not an MSM podcast, but I'm just gonna invite you for the sake of it, if you want, that is. And people are putting Gary's mod. What a fun thing. It's just a feeling. And I'm a little concerned right now. Because pretty soon, like in a few months, VeggieTales is gonna reach the 30th anniversary. Like, I'm happy it made the biggest milestone, but at the same time, oh, I've been fine. I'm just worried about what's going to happen to VeggieTales, because it's gonna be 30 years since the series was premiered. Like, I don't know. I'm scared. It gives me the chills, if you don't know what I mean. Like, what do you guys think of Big Idea as of now? Is VeggieTales a VeggieTales? I'm excited for the Yeah, I can see that, but here's the thing though. Ever since Phil and Mike got fired, Betty Tails has been dropping. It's coming to the point that Big Idea is running out of ideas. Then again, at least Universal isn't totally corrupted. That is unlike Disney. Well, let me give you a rant real quick. Disney has definitely fallen from grace. Like, literally, fallen from the grace. It just makes me worried, if you know what I mean. Hold on. I'm sure. But what do you guys think of VeggieTales? Do you think it's still producing stuff? Do you think it's gonna be the downfall? Is it gonna be, dead? I have a feeling that the 30-year mark is probably gonna be one of the worst ones. Like, I get it, it's a huge milestone, but still. It's like in 1998, Bob the Builder was first king, and this year it's going to be 25 years old. Dark and I are really excited about the series turning 25. It gives us some hope. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up with Bob the Builder and VeggieTales. Let me talk about my history of Bob the Builder. When I first came across Bob the Builder, I saw the United States version. But recently, I came towards the UK version. And I found out the UK version was absolutely funny. Well, my brother used to watch Bob the Builder, but which version did you keep across? The US version or the UK version? I'm actually kind of curious. Because I watched the US stuff a little bit in my a long time ago, and then when I was like 7 or 8. Oh, the US stuff. Oh, that's okay. Oh, cool. Do you want to know a fun fact? There's a gender difference of Mug versus on the United Kingdom dub versus the United States dub. In the UK dub of Mug is a male, but in the US dub, Mug is a female. It really varies from the country. Where at this point, I don't know what gender Mug is really. It's really confusing. I'm starting to think that Mug is non-binary or gender fluid. Let me know what you guys think of Mug. Is Mug a male? Female? Don't go by any gender? Gender fluid? I could sit around and talk about Mug, but I want to give you a trivia. Lofty is one of the only machines that kept his gender worldwide. Like, he's a straight man. But he ain't Lofty's not straight, that's for sure. I believe I watched a lot about it though. I don't know very much of it. Oh, that's fine. I seem to have a lot of knowledge of the series. If you're going back to watch it, then I recommend staying away from the U.S. from the not the U.S. The reboots. It's pretty bad. Seasons, the original season, the original version, like seasons 1 through 16, are pretty cool, are amazing, enjoyable. Season 17 through 18, it's up for debate. I'll let you guys talk about what do you think of Ready Steady Build, because I'm probably gonna watch a. I'm gonna watch the. I'm gonna do a reaction video of Ready Steady Build, because there's a lot of controversies of Ready Steady Build. And I mean a lot. If I could find it. This was suggested to me by Matt the Cat that I should give it a watch, and to be honest, I'm very curious of where's gonna go. Are y'all ready? Because we're gonna take a little trip to Bob the Builder stuff. Are y'all ready? Side react the nail in the coffin. Ready, steady, build.
A lot of shows, when they made the CGI switch, changed the look of the characters for entirely no good reason.
I don't know how to break the news to you, Tug, but it wasn't like that when it started.
Right, true.
Bob the Builder. I can't escape talking about this franchise, can I? Now, it might not be on the same levels as something like Thomas, Postman Pat, or Fireman Sam in terms of rewatchability, as out of those batch of shows, it's probably the one that's most targeted towards a younger demographic.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to argue that it's more than just a kid's show. No. I'm just saying it has all the assets that make it a good show. Well-written stories, a charming set of characters, a very cute stop-motion animation style.
Yeah, it is pretty cute, stop animation, because look at them. They're like, there's characters like Scoop, Bob, Dizzy, Rolly. Their design is so cute. Fun fact, I used to have the Bob the Builder toys. Well, more specifically, the machines like Scoop, Bob, Dizzy, Rolly, and Lobby. Fun fact, I still have Rolly. I refuse to let him go. He's one of my favorite characters. All right. Enough talking. Let's go.
Style and an epic theme song that makes any 7-year-old feel like a Chad when they say no, we can't. Now, throughout the years, Bob has had 4 incarnations: the original series, Project Build It, the 2015 reboot, and the series that I'll be discussing in this video, the 3rd generation of Bob the Builder, that I feel like is not discussed about that often in the Bob the Builder fandom. And that's where I step in, as I'll be going through this series, as well as sharing my thoughts on this sort of retrospective on this series. This is Bob the Builder, Ready, Steady, Build.
Hold on. That design, though. What the heck is with Lofty? It looks like Dizzy and Rolly are doing the Powder's face. Okay, that is kind of cute. Where do all start?
The production behind Ready Steady Build begins back in June 2008, after Project Build It and filming of the 5th special, Race to the Finish, had ended the previous year. It was during that time where Hit Entertainment had decided to give 4 of its properties a new look in the form of CGI animation.
I hate to break it to you, but you might be incorrect. It's actually 2010. Wait a minute. Hold on, let me look it up. Bob the Builder, ready, steady, build. Yes, it was in 2010, not 2008. So you got it a little bit mixed up. So the accurate date is 2010, not 2008.
These 4 properties included Bob the Builder, obviously, Fireman Sam, Angelina Ballerina, and Thomas the Tank Engine, which at that point was experimenting with CGI in the form of its 12th season.
Ew.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother! Jesus of Nazareth!
This came about during an interesting time where stop-motion animation was sort of a dying form of animation, and all the shows that were made during the mid-2000s were trying to seek the same widespread attention as something like Bob did, which I might argue that Bob is the sole reason why there were a bunch of stop-motion shows being made during that time period, as Bob was sort of a renaissance of stop-motion. Still,
yeah, Bob the Builder started it all. If it weren't for Bob, there wouldn't be much CGI. There wouldn't be much stop-motion animation stuff.
Postman Pat still kept using stop motion, but other than that, shows like Engie Benji, Little Robots, and the revival series of both Andy Pandy and Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men were brought back because of Bob, but they only lasted a few years. Which is surprising, especially for something animated by Cosgrove Hall, who were once the empires of stop motion, only for them to cease existence 14 years ago.
Oh.
If you're watching this at a later date, you do the math yourself. God, I feel old. However, there are some shows like Roy the Racing Car where they incorporate CGI elements with the stop motion, which surprisingly hasn't aged poorly. But as you know, I'm going to save Roy for another day. But anyway, back to Bob. The animation for Ready Steady Build was done by SD Entertainment, who also provided the animation for Make Way for Noddy and would later go on to work on Angelina Ballerina's CG incarnation. But what you may not know is that this isn't the first time that Bob has turned CGI. In 2009, SD Entertainment animated a 4D ride experience of Bob the Builder that was shown at Legoland. Which Legoland it was is beyond me. Footage of it does exist, but in very low quality, and it contains the US voice actors.
If you were going to build a roller coaster, you'd need to plan it very carefully first.
That's what we have to do, or we won't know what we're doing.
It's unknown whether or not a UK dub of it exists. As for the main series, test footage of it exists online, where the audio heard would later be used in the episodes Scratch Goes Solo and Muck and the Old School Wall. However, it was uploaded and apparently done by Sandman Animation Studio, the same company who animated Hard Henry, but the animation looks relatively the same as SD Entertainment, albeit the animation looks a little bit more rougher and... Oh god, this is fucking hell! Why are they... Oh my god! Yeah, the test animation... King...
What the heck? But I can understand Disney doing that, but... What the heck happened to Rolly? Last time I checked, steamrollers don't stand on their legs. They just don't.
Hell! Why are they... Oh my god! Yeah, the test animation is rather unnatural, to say the least. But a lot of the quirks here would later be carried over to the main series. The most notable change being the human's mouths, which can now emote more than just a smile, consistently moving up and down all the time and relying on their eyes to convey their emotions. And the machine's grill mouths actually have proper mouth movement instead of being still and being changed every now and then. Just like how the faces were in the model series of Thomas. To say I'm not a fan of this approach would be kind of an understatement. The mouth movement looks really distracting when comparing it to the stop motion series, and it especially looks jarring on characters like Lofty and Travis. And as for the set dressing, it's very simple in terms of structure, similar to how the nitrogen era of Thomas is nothing but PNG trees in the background. Only difference here is that the trees are flat as fuck. So overall, the animation is, to put it in the best word possible, would be strange. While it does a decent job.
Well, at least the CGI of Bob the Builder was better than Fireman Sam CGI. I'll give him that.
job of capturing the original designs of the characters, it suffers from being a bit too similar to the original, especially with the backgrounds and the more greener sets, as it looks very off-putting and gives you the impression that it could have easily been done with the stop-motion puppets. Yes, I understand it would be a lot more time-consuming and expensive, but this is Bob the Builder. It looks very off-putting, especially with the background.
I literally saw Rolly zooming. Like, if I put it on 2D Plus, whoa, too fast. Like, I thought I saw Rolly zooming. Like, I literally saw Rolly zoom back. Maybe it's just me. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me just, okay. Alright, we're experiencing technical difficulties. But yeah, I thought I saw Rolly zoomed. Last time I checked, Rolly does not zoom either. Like, I'll let you see it one more time. Y'all see that?
More time-consuming and expensive, but this is Bob the Builder, a show where the bushes are literally just cardboard cutouts. You can't get more stop motion than that.
The series itself, short with Bob.
Now,
yeah, it is true. Ready, Steady, Build only lasted like, 2 seasons, like 17, 17, and 18, and it only lasted 2010 to 2012.
Now for the series itself. Ready Steady Build made its UK TV premiere in 2010 on CBeebies and ended the very next year, 2011.
Yeah.
It later aired across the pond in the States around the same time on PBS. This show lasted 2 seasons with 2-hour-long specials, which both consist of 6 episodes each.
Yeah. This first section is The Legend of the Golden Hammer. The Legend of the Golden Hammer contains Scratch and the Clue, Lofty and the Teddy Bear Rescue, Mug and the Old School Wall, Scoop's Big Job, Dizzy finds the Pirates, and Rolly and the Seagull. While Dinosaur Dig contains Lofty and the Diggers 3, Scoop and the Roller Coaster, Rubble and the Seagull Surprise, Rolly and the Impossible Bump, Mug's Train to Trouble, and a Dinosaur for Scratch,
making them one cohesive storyline. The series takes place at Fixham Harbour and pretty much acts like the original series, only at a different location. Just like with the character designs, the voices stayed the same, in the UK at least. Neil Morrissey, Kate Harbour, and Rob Rackstraw reprised their roles of their respective characters.
At least we got these guys for. Yeah. At least the UK was respectful to their voice actors. And there's Ruber, who does the voice actor for Scrambler.
However, it was a bit different in the US. Just like with Project Build It, Rob Rackstraw voiced Spud and Mr. Bentley. Bob was voiced by Mark Silk, and nearly all of the machines had different voices in this era compared to their stop-motion counterparts, which for some reason included Horrid Henry herself, Lizzie Waterworth, as the voice of Lofty.
Oh my. I didn't know that.
This series isn't a follow-up from Project Build It, as little to no elements from Bobsville are present in Ready Steady Build. A lot of the human characters aren't present, even the ones that appeared in Project Build It, like Mr. Beasley, Mrs. Bentley, and Mr. Sabatini. The closest we get is Bob's dad, Robert, but he was only mentioned in one episode where they tried to make their own backstory.
Oh, what a callback.
And look at this, Wendy. My grandpa Billy's tools. He was a builder too, just like my dad and me.
However, quite a few machines from Project Builder did make a comeback, like Packer, Gripper and Grabber, and especially Scrambler. But this series also introduced one of the main...
I like Scrambler. He was an excellent addition. I'm glad he's back.
...new characters of Ready Steady Bill, Scratch. Scratch is the newest member of the Can-Do crew. He's young, naive, and keen to help or make a good impression of himself. However, personally, I find him one of the most annoying characters in the whole Bob the Builder series.
That is debatable.
His voice, while being voiced by Kate Harbour, is way too whiny. A lot of the time, he's wanting to do something that's impossible for someone his size to
That is typical. Look, that is typical child stuff. You might be a little bit too harsh.
do, and most especially his design. Not only is it a recolor of Benny, but my deductions made me realize that he's basically a combination of all of Bob's machines. Think about it. The same color as Lofty, the same size as Dizzy, the same eyes as Scoop, caterpillar tracks like Muck, and the same roof as Rolly. Right, I think I should have a
I really do not want to know how that happened.
gander at the episodes.
Episode analysis? I only see a few of them.
For this review, I'll be taking a look at 2 episodes from each season of the show. The first episode is Rolly's Rovers, written by
I like that episode.
Everyone's favorite Thomas writer, Sharon Miller.
Yay!
In this episode, the team are restoring Fixin' Rovers football field, with the exception of Lofty and Dizzy, because they seem to be missing from action in this episode. Either that or they're doing something else.
Probably.
Lofty, what are you doing?
Crack!
What the fuck?
Bob leaves Rolly in charge of telling the others what to do, but because it's Sharon Miller's writing, Rolly wasn't listening to Bob while he was showing the plans, which seems to be a recurring sequence that happens in this era. And of course it goes wrong, Rolly messes up because he was too busy thinking about being the team mascot and...
Okay. For Ready City Build, I can understand it because it is a one-time thing. And this is the only time, in at least the Baltimore franchise as a whole, that Rolly screws up because of his ego.
And then he learns to pay attention to what is being told to him in the future. Just from that summary, you can automatically tell what the main issue is with this episode. It's so basic and boring. And it's not even the 3 strikes formula. But that doesn't stop the episode from having a lot of fucking rhyming.
Fixin' Rovers, listen to the sound of Fixin' Rovers, the greatest team around. Rolly's Rovers for the cup, never down but always up. Rolly's Rovers bound to win. When we shoot, the ball goes in. Rolly's Rovers winning team. When we score, the crowd will scream.
Oh, that was right in my ear, dude.
Another issue
Oh, Rolly.
this episode has, apart from the rhyming, is Rolly's mindset. It manages to get his character both right and wrong at the same time. Whilst yes, Rolly enjoys making up little songs as he works, but he'd never make that the main priority over a job. For example, in an episode of Project Build It, Rolly's new friend to be precise, Rolly isn't doing the job he's supposed to because he's following a bird, but he knew he had a job to do, so he tells the bird to move so that the team can have space to build.
Yeah.
Oh no, Birdie! I don't think that's a very good place for your nest. Yes, it is a nice tree, but we're building a new road on this track.
At
But
least
in
he
this
tried.
episode, Rolly just essentially tells the team to
Just do whatever you want while I make up my own shit.
Also, Mr. Bentley just giving Bob the job of
What was
being
that?
team...
While I make up my own shit.
Also, Mr. Bentley just giving Bob the job of being team coach.
Like Rolly goes, do whatever you want. Yo, I'm here. Hi, Dark. How are you doing? But yeah, Rolly. This is gonna be a cuss warning. This isn't the first time that Rolly wasn't. This wasn't the first time Rolly was a huge dick.
coach out of nowhere. It was very unlike him. Finally, is it just me, or is it really weird seeing the machines mimic the mouth plates seen in the original series? It seems to only be in this episode.
My ear is still ringing from that noise.
That's right.
Anyway, the next episode is called High Tide for Lofty.
High Tide?
The other night, a big storm swept across Fixham, destroying the old pier that we've only ever seen in the title screen of the episodes,
Right.
and even here it looks fine. So Bob and the gang have to fix it while the tide is still out, but Lofty is worried about getting wet, and that he might fall apart like the pier. So Lofty is basically afraid of the water, and Muck and Dizzy only make it worse. Lofty is scared so much that he loses one of the wooden posts and takes the long way to the supplier's yard to avoid the sea, and then he, accidentally, destroys the pier, all because Dizzy mentioned the fucking sea! Or ocean if you've watched the US dub.
Poor
But he
Lofty.
rebuilds it, saves Dizzy, and finds out that water can't hurt him, and the animation for the final scene is one of the worst pieces of animation I've ever seen from this show. So the main reason this episode sucks major horse testicles, if you can't tell, is because Lofty is such a pussy. Now, I understand he was scared of mice and heights in the stop-motion series, but that only gets brought up every now and then. But in this series, Lofty's timidness has almost become his only defining character trait. Another reason is because of the previously mentioned animation. Like, what the fuck is that set? But if I'm being honest, this episode wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
You're just overjudging Lofty's character. Isn't what Lofty's supposed to be? An adorable coward?
Whilst it does downgrade Lofty's character and has horribly aged CGI, at least it doesn't have consistent rhyming and a mindless lead character. Now we move on to Scoop's Big Job from the second season. Now this episode is actually from the Legend of the Golden Hammer saga, but because that and Big Dino Dig are basically just 6 episodes making up a 60-minute special, they technically classify as episodes. So the sort of side plot in this episode is that Spud and Scrambler are trying to find Pirate Brickbeard's golden hammer. Because if there's one thing that pirates have, it's their golden hammer. Well, unless the pirate's name is Jeremy Clarkson. Right. Anyway, the main plot of the episode is the team have to fix a lighthouse. It's here where we get to see Splasher again, one of the few characters from Project Build It to make an appearance again. He's helping the team out, but Scoop believes that he's the only one that can do the big jobs. Oh, for God's sake. Wait, how many times has Scoop acted like this? Yeah.
Oh no! Not again. Okay. For those who are unaware, I hate it when they do Scoop like that. First time on Scoop's in charge, I can sympathize with Scoop. He's only trying to make an impression. Second time, this is a coincidence, which is on Snowed Under. But the third time, he did it on purpose.
Twice. Once in season 3 and the other in Snowed Under. But with those situations, Scoop actually had a reason to act the way he did. In Scoop's in charge, it was because he wanted to ease off Bob by being in charge himself.
Yeah.
And in Snowed Under, his ego went to his radiator. But here, he got envious of someone taking his job. And the absolute worst thing about this episode is even though it's not written by Sharon Miller, it's still a fucking 3 Strikes Formula episode! This episode is probably the worst one of the bunch. Appalling story, horrendous handling of Scoop, and the missed potential of utilizing Splasher in this episode.
I agree.
Wait, not yet.
Before I blow my brains out, we've got one final episode to look at. This is Bob's Big Bounce. The team are building a trampoline, and they need to move all the materials for it, and
I can't pick it all up.
Shall I ask Bob to help?
No, let's try and solve this problem by ourselves, Scratch.
Holy shit, there is a god. Scoop is back to his normal character.
Oh my
so after
God.
seeing this, Scratch wishes he could fix a problem himself, and he seizes the opportunity when one of the springs for the trampoline is found broken. With no spare springs left, Scratch borrows some glue to stick the spring back together, but being a machine, he can't use the glue. Despite him being able to pick up a singular spring, a broken
That's
spring,
impressive.
mind you, from a box full of several other springs. Yeah, I'm just as confused as you are. So he enlists the help of our Lord and Savior himself, Spud. Which leads me to one of my biggest complaints about Ready Steady Build. Spud isn't really the same Spud we all know and love. In the original, Spud is a troublemaker and loves to cause havoc in Bobsville, intentionally or unintentionally, but not to the point where he's unbearable. There are times where he just wants to help. Project Build It does this a fair few times, but he still has the troublesome nature and essence that Spud has. But in this show, Spud is just too friendly, and this episode really shows that. So after Spud helps Scratch, he puts it back in the box, but when Bob gives the trampoline a test jump, the spring breaks and Bob flings into the air and surprisingly doesn't get hurt.
Yikes.
It's out of the park!
So after that, Scratch owns up about the spring, but now the trampoline has lost its shape. So Scratch tries to sort this out by getting everyone to help, and it's fixed.
Yeah.
Job's done, and Spud does what he should have done in this episode. This is definitely the least worst episode of the 4, but saying that doesn't mean it's good either, because the moral is very on the nose and blatantly stated near the end. But overall, it's still at the very least
I guess you could say there are a few times where the characters are not themselves.
Watchable. And speaking of watching, I decided to give 4 of my friends 3 episodes of Ready Steady Build to watch. 2 who have seen the show and 2 who haven't seen the show. And I got them to record their honest thoughts on Ready Steady Build.
So after coming back to Bob the Builder Ready Steady Build after so long, I could say that visually it looks great. The models really translate well into the CGI that they're using, and not just of the characters, but the sets. Visually, from model to CGI, it works really well in this show, unlike the ugly reboot that all of us have come to hate at this point. A big critique, though, that I can give on this show is its writing. It falls under the same category that Thomas the Tank Engine had from Season 8 to Season 16, where the writing isn't really focused around them being construction machines, as it's more focused on making the moral of the day a more blatant statement rather than a let's see if they get it kind of approach. It feels like a kid's show of its time, but if I had to choose between the reboot and this, I would gladly come back to this.
Ready Steady Build isn't the worst thing I've seen, but it does have flaws. From characters behaving differently, but not out of character, Thomas and Friends, eat your heart out. The animation is just average, but passable, and not the worst. CGI Fireman Sam, eat your heart out. The story and plots are either okay, mediocre, bland, or just meh. And you can get the feeling that they were struggling and running out of ideas. Also, the way the locations look visually in terms of how they're set up feels like a map from a video game.
I could see why Ready Steady Build is one of the more controversial eras.
I feel like it understands the whole.
All these episodes are just boring and repetitive, and they all feel the same.
So, in fact, that they add Bob is one of those where after episode it kind of resets itself. And another thing that the whole episode, the blue thing, caused.
All right, final thoughts and feelings.
Ready Steady Build is, in my opinion, without a doubt, the start of the eventual downfall of Bob the Builder. A lot of that just comes from the stories, because of how undeniably crap they all are. It proves that there really isn't anything else to do with Bob the Builder. Project Build It may have had an abrupt ending with its last episode being a clip show, but if it ended with Race to the Finish, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it. They've done everything they can with Bob, and if they can't think of anything else, just leave it and continue with one of their other shows. But because
Ready Steady Build is one of the more controversial seasons. Because it had some good, but it's most bad. It has some good, some bad, but what I could find is at least a joy, and at least has some redeeming qualities, unlike the reboot.
Bob was such a big name in the hit entertainment library, they just had to bring it back in CGI for 2 seasons that only lasted in the span of a year with 2 specials that weren't really specials. And the worst thing about this change is that the demand for the show was really plummeting, which was rather unheard of because it's Bob the Builder. And the show didn't help itself with its lazy storytelling, poorly written characters, and very in-your-face morals only made the show much more unwatchable. And things only got worse when Mattel stepped in with the 2015 reboot, which only tainted the reputation of the show even more. It's sad seeing what was once a well-loved and well-known franchise like Bob the Builder disappear into thin air, while other franchises like Thomas are being milked into something that it's not, and Fireman Sam being left on autopilot without anyone caring.
Right.
Seriously, who in 2023 is watching the new Fireman Sam?
How does it feel to have lived
Not
long enough to
me.
see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
It almost makes you miss the way HIT handled their properties in the 2000s before they went all CGI, which may sound debatable for Thomas fans, but you've got to remember, HIT understood what makes a show stick out, and that was evident with their big three, Thomas, Bob, and Sam.
Aww.
All three shows stuck out because of their usage of stop-motion model work, but I won't go too in-depth with HIT because that'll have to wait until the retrospective.
Yeah.
Stop motion has always allowed people to show off what can be achieved by hand, and even in the original series of these three shows, you can tell that these all came from a place of heart, even in their stories and characters. Nowadays, it's all computers, which can create some genuinely stunning imagery, but I don't think they'll ever beat the soul and passion that comes from the art that is stop motion animation.
Stop motion will always win.
Which is less about what can be said about Scratch. You wouldn't shoot a machine, would you know? Yeah, in the face. Why?
Whoa. That is literally something. I never thought I'd say this, but I kind of agree. Ready, Steady, Build was the start of Bob the Builder's huge downfall. To be honest, I would personally stop at Race to the Finish because Race to the Finish and when Bob became Builder felt like a finale. Well, actually, Race to the Finish felt like a true finale to Bob the Builder. It's like a story wrapped up. If me and a couple friends were to redo Ready, Steady, Build, here's how I would have done it. I would bring back the stop motion, although the machines are probably going to be on Gmod or Blender. I'm going to have creative writing, although the voices are probably going to be made by. If you allowed me, I would probably voice Dizzy and Lofty. I know Lofty's a male, but hear me out. Lofty sounds like a female. And I know Dark Fedora could do a good impression of one about Builder characters. What was the character you can do again? I think. But yeah. If we were to redo this, I want to share these with you. Oh, the Can Do crew, Disney specials. It says the Bob the Builder Can Do crew, Disney's favorite adventures, Bob the Builder to the rescue, and Pets in the Pickle. Oh, that's nice. It's more likely I'm going to do more Bob the Builder stuff, but I don't know. Speaking of Bob the Builder, Ghastly has made 2 characters in human form. Well, technically, I wouldn't have created, but she redesigned them. More specifically, Muck and Rolly. When you see Muck and Rolly in the same scenes, what are the 2 things you notice? To me, it reminds me of Mario and Luigi, except Mug isn't really too egotistic, and Broly is not a coward. And Mario's not one getting dirty, and I don't know if Luigi writes music in his time. I mean, he sings a lot in Luigi's Mansion. And the movie voice actor is a great singer, is one of the greatest singers, Charlie Day. Who knows? Anyways, that's going to do for this stream. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll try to upload as soon as possible. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.